For far too long, we've allowed rampant greed and neglect to ravage our wild places while the cries of nature go unheard. How can we stand by as corporate interests and indifference strip the wilderness of its beauty, leaving behind nothing but devastation? It's outrageous that the very land sustaining life is exploited and abused without consequence. Aren't you tired of watching our precious environment suffer at the hands of those who prioritize profit over protection? Deep in the rugged foothills of the Cascade Range in Oregon, secrets lay hidden among ancient pines and moss-covered rocks. For Samantha Reed, a passionate nature photographer whose life had been marked by hardship, the wilderness was both a refuge and a canvas of endless beauty. At 34, despite her ongoing battle with a chronic illness that had once forced her to give up her dreams of exploring the wild, Samantha found solace and strength in the untamed world around her. One crisp early morning, as a gentle mist curled around the towering evergreens and soft light filtered through the dense canopy, Samantha set out on a solo hike. With her trusted camera slung over her shoulder and her heart open to nature's wonders, she ventured deeper into a secluded trail. The cool, damp air and the distant sound of a cascading stream filled her with a quiet hope. But nothing could have prepared her for what lay ahead. As she walked along a narrow path edged by ferns and wildflowers, a faint, plaintive sound reached her ears, a soft, desperate mew, barely audible over the rustling leaves. Instantly, her instincts kicked in. Samantha's pulse quickened, and she scanned the surroundings until the source of the sound revealed itself. In a small clearing, partially concealed by a fallen cedar log, lay a tiny bobcat kitten. Its fur was matted with dirt and ice, and its eyes, wide with fear, shimmered with pain and vulnerability. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Samantha's heart ached at the sight of the fragile creature, abandoned and struggling against the harsh elements. Though she knew the wild demanded respect and caution, the kitten's desperate state left her no choice. "Hang on, little one," she whispered, her voice trembling with empathy. With gentle, deliberate steps, she approached the kitten, her every movement guided by both compassion and experience from countless hours spent in the wilderness. Carefully, Samantha scooped up the shivering animal, wrapping it in her own jacket to shield it from the biting cold. The kitten, though still weak, allowed her tender touch, its soft purrs mingling with the rustle of the underbrush. Determined to give the creature a fighting chance, Samantha decided to bring it to her trusty Subaru parked at the trailhead, where she had set up a makeshift nest and carried basic first aid supplies. As she drove away from the secluded forest, the morning light growing stronger, Samantha couldn't shake the profound connection she felt with this tiny soul. Naming the kitten Nova to symbolize a new beginning and spark of hope, she resolved to do everything in her power to nurse it back to health. Little did she know, this simple act of rescue would not only transform Nova's destiny but also begin to heal the lingering scars of her own past. With Nova safely nestled in her jacket, Samantha hurried back to her modest off-grid cabin, her mind racing with both worry and hope. The drive through the winding trails of the Cascade Range was quiet except for the rhythmic hum of her Subaru and her own steady heartbeat. Every twist and turn reminded her of the fragile balance between the wild and human intervention, a balance she was determined to honor. Upon arriving at her cabin, Samantha gently transferred Nova from the car into a makeshift sanctuary she had prepared in the living room. Soft blankets, a low-humming portable heater, and a carefully arranged assortment of first aid supplies formed a cozy corner where the little bobcat could rest and begin the process of healing. The cabin's interior, with its rustic charm and the warm glow of a crackling wood stove, instantly contrasted with the harsh, icy wilderness outside. Samantha wasted no time in tending to Nova's immediate needs. With a careful touch, she dried the kitten's matted fur and inspected its tiny body for any signs of injury. Though Nova appeared weakened and shivering, there was a spark in those luminous eyes that spoke of a will to survive. Pulling a small bottle of water from her hiking kit, Samantha offered a few drops to Nova, who drank hesitantly at first, then with growing confidence. She then prepared a small dish of soft, nutrient-rich food that she had specially packed for emergencies like this. As the morning light filtered through the frosted windows, Nova's eyes slowly began to brighten. Samantha documented every moment with her camera, a series of intimate portraits capturing the fragile hope in the kitten's gaze. Each click of the shutter was a silent promise to help Nova regain strength, and in turn, it served as a reminder of her own journey toward healing. For years, Samantha had carried the weight of isolation and a life altered by chronic illness, but now, as she cared for this vulnerable creature, she discovered a renewed sense of purpose and connection. Throughout the day, Samantha stayed by Nova's side, speaking in soft, encouraging tones as if to assure the little one that it was safe here. The bond between them deepened with every gentle stroke and whispered word. In the quiet hours, as Nova began to stir and explore the safe confines of her sanctuary, Samantha found herself reflecting on the unpredictable ways life could intertwine destinies. Caring for Nova became more than just an act of rescue, it was a journey of healing, where the nurse and the nurtured found solace in one another. By the end of the day, Nova was not only eating and drinking but also starting to play timidly with a soft toy Samantha had crafted from old fabric scraps. It was a small, yet profound victory. Watching Nova's playful antics, Samantha felt a warmth blooming inside her that had long been dormant. The wild outside still beckoned, but within these walls, a new chapter of recovery was unfolding, a chapter where compassion bridged the gap between the scars of the past and the promise of tomorrow. In the days that followed Nova's arrival, the once silent cabin began to hum with the gentle rhythms of a newfound life. With every passing morning, the fragile kitten grew a little stronger, and with each tentative step, the bond between her and Samantha deepened. The initial shock of rescue had given way to quiet moments of healing and trust, where both caregiver and creature discovered solace in each other's presence. Every sunrise brought with it small triumphs. Nova's once timid eyes started to sparkle with curiosity, and her cautious paws began to explore the soft corners of the cabin. Samantha, too, found her heart softening in ways she hadn't thought possible. The quiet mornings were spent side by side, Samantha capturing these intimate moments with her camera while Nova, in her playful innocence, began to test the limits of her small world. Each purr and playful swipe at a dangling string was a silent affirmation that healing was underway. Outside, the Cascade Range provided a breathtaking backdrop to this slow transformation. The rugged wilderness that had once seemed intimidating now appeared as a protective guardian, its towering evergreens and whispering breezes echoing the gentle progress taking place within the cabin walls. On clear afternoons, Samantha would sit by the large window, a steaming mug of herbal tea in hand, watching Nova venture a few steps further before retreating back to the safety of her makeshift nest. Those moments filled Samantha with a bittersweet blend of joy and melancholy, a recognition of the wild spirit in Nova that reminded her of the untamed beauty of nature, yet also of the inevitable day when Nova would belong entirely to the forest. At times, as dusk settled and the cabin grew quiet, Samantha would gently recount memories of her past and share soft stories with Nova as if the little bobcat could understand every word. She spoke of lost dreams, of pain that had once seemed insurmountable, and of the courage it took to embrace hope. In return, Nova would respond with a gentle nudge or a soft, reassuring purr, a dialogue unspoken but deeply felt. As Nova's trust blossomed, Samantha found herself more willing to step beyond the safety of her cabin. They began taking short, cautious walks around the property, where Nova would cautiously sniff the wild air and observe the vibrant life that pulsed through the meadows and woods. Each adventure, though small, became a celebration of life's resilience. Samantha marveled at how, in caring for Nova, she too was reclaiming pieces of herself that had long been buried beneath solitude and sorrow. In those shared moments, amidst the interplay of light and shadow of the Cascades, a profound truth emerged: healing is not a solitary journey but a shared passage where every small act of love nurtures the soul. As the golden hues of late summer began to melt into the gentle promise of autumn, Samantha felt the time had come to honor the wild spirit growing within Nova. The cabin that once served as a sanctuary for their shared healing had transformed into a place of bittersweet memories, where every corner whispered stories of renewal and hope. Nova had blossomed from a frightened, shivering kitten into a curious, sprightly young bobcat, full of instinct and the spark of untamed life. Samantha knew that as much as their bond had rekindled her own passion for living, Nova's destiny was woven into the wild fabric of the Cascade Range. With a heavy yet determined heart, she prepared for the moment of farewell, a celebration of growth rather than an end. Over the next few weeks, their days together took on a new rhythm. Their morning walks turned into quiet adventures along hidden trails, where Nova, now agile and confident, would pause to sniff the cool, fresh air and explore every rustle in the underbrush. Samantha captured these moments through her lens, each photograph a testament to the vibrant life unfolding around them. In the soft light of a crisp autumn day, Samantha led Nova to a vast clearing at the edge of the forest. The area, bathed in the mellow glow of the setting sun, offered a glimpse of the wild that awaited the bobcat, a world of rustling leaves, winding streams, and towering trees that whispered ancient secrets. Standing there, with Nova by her side, Samantha felt a profound connection between her own journey of healing and the eternal rhythm of nature. It was a moment of clarity, where she understood that letting go did not mean forgetting, but rather allowing life to continue its natural course. With a tender smile, Samantha knelt beside Nova and spoke softly, "You are free now, Nova. Go and claim your destiny among these wild lands." Nova hesitated for a moment, her eyes meeting Samantha's in a silent exchange filled with love, gratitude, and a hint of reluctance. It was as if the bobcat was saying, "I'll never forget what you've done for me," before she turned gracefully toward the forest. With each step Nova took into the wilderness, Samantha felt a mix of heartache and joy, a poignant reminder that true love sometimes means having the courage to set someone free. As Nova's silhouette disappeared into the depths of the forest, Samantha lingered in that clearing, feeling the warmth of their shared memories spread across her heart. The breeze carried with it a faint echo of Nova's presence, a promise that the wild would always be a part of her. In that moment, she realized that by helping Nova find her way back to the wild, she had also reawakened the dormant parts of her own spirit. Weeks melted into months after Nova disappeared into the dense wilderness, yet her presence lingered in every whisper of the wind and every ray of sunlight that filtered through the towering pines. Samantha found herself revisiting that clearing in the Cascades, the very spot where she had bid farewell, now transformed into a sacred place of memories and quiet strength. Since Nova's departure, Samantha's life had taken on a new, unexpected rhythm. Her days were filled with long hikes along rugged trails, her camera always at the ready, capturing the ever-changing moods of the wild. The experience of caring for Nova had left an indelible mark on her heart. With every snapshot of a cascading waterfall, every image of golden leaves dancing in the autumn breeze, Samantha saw echoes of the little bobcat, a silent reminder of the bond they once shared. In the quiet solitude of her off-grid cabin, Samantha began to notice subtle signs that Nova was still near. A distinctive paw print by the stream, the fleeting glimpse of a tawny figure at the edge of the forest, or the soft rustle of underbrush that seemed to call her name. These moments filled her with both a tender longing and an overwhelming sense of gratitude. It was as if the wild itself had embraced her, acknowledging the love and care she had poured into rescuing Nova. Inspired by these encounters, Samantha started a new chapter in her work. She dedicated herself to documenting the intricate relationship between humans and the natural world. Her blog, once a personal refuge, blossomed into a platform that celebrated the healing power of nature and the strength found in vulnerability. Readers from across the globe began to share their own stories of loss, recovery, and connection with the wild, creating a community bound by a shared love for life in all its raw, unpredictable beauty. One crisp morning, while wandering near a quiet meadow at the edge of the forest, Samantha's heart skipped a beat. There, basking in the soft glow of the sunrise, was a lone bobcat, a striking figure with familiar, inquisitive eyes that mirrored Nova's. It paused to look directly at her before disappearing silently among the ferns. In that fleeting moment, Samantha felt an unspoken reassurance that love and hope were eternal, echoing across the wild lands and in the chambers of her heart. As she continued her journey through the forest, every sound and shadow seemed to sing a quiet hymn of resilience. The wilderness had taught her that every farewell carried within it the seed of a new beginning, and that the beauty of life was found not in clinging to what was lost, but in celebrating the everlasting dance between human and nature. As we bring our journey to a close, let this story remind you that love, compassion, and respect for nature are the heartbeats that sustain our world. In every rustle of the leaves, every ray of gentle sunlight filtering through the forest canopy, there is a quiet promise of renewal and hope. Our connection with the wild is not just a bond with the environment, it's a bond with ourselves, a reminder that even in our darkest moments, there is beauty waiting to be rediscovered. Through the simple act of caring for a fragile life, we learn that every gesture of kindness ripples outward, nurturing not only the recipient but also healing our own wounds. When you choose to listen to nature's call, to embrace its challenges and marvel at its mysteries, you invite a transformation that reaches deep into your soul. It is in the shared silence of a forest, the harmonious song of the wind, and the tender interactions with a rescued creature that we find the true essence of what it means to live. This journey, our journey, teaches us that renewal is possible even after loss, that every ending carries the seed of a new beginning. Let this be a reminder to cherish every moment of beauty, to find hope in the smallest acts of care, and to honor the precious ties that bind us to every living thing. Remember, the wild is not something to be conquered or controlled, it is a sanctuary that welcomes us with open arms, inviting us to learn, grow, and be a part of its endless cycle of life. As you reflect on the story we shared today, let your heart be open to the wonders that surround you. Whether you're drawn to the serenity of a quiet morning in the forest or inspired by the courage of those who stand up for the vulnerable, know that your own journey is filled with endless possibilities for healing and transformation. Every small step, every compassionate choice, is a light that brightens the path forward, both for you and for the world at large. Thank you for being here, for taking the time to listen and to let this message resonate within you. If you found inspiration and solace in this story, please help spread the love by liking, sharing, and joining our community. Your support means the world, as it fuels our collective effort to celebrate and protect the beauty of life in every form. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt stories and uplifting messages that remind us all of the power of love and nature. Together, let's continue to nurture hope, foster compassion, and create a legacy of renewal for generations to come. Subscribe now and be a part of our journey towards a kinder, more loving world.